moving from the slowest moving industry in the world in forestry to one of the fastest. We've a brilliant talk now from Meave Larkin. She's on the Irish agency team here in Google. This is the terrific, terrifying, awesome power of the Google AI marketing machine. It'll blow your socks off. Please put your hands together to welcome Meave to the stage.
Cheers. Geez, what a tough act to follow. Talking about trees to talking about the machine again. Well, hi everyone. My name is Meave Larkin and I'm working on the Irish agency team here at Google. And I'm delighted to be here today to talk to you guys about smart campaigns. And what we mean by smart campaigns are really campaigns that are underpinned and powered by machine learning. And machine learning really goes hand in hand with automation. And Brendan spoke earlier, he gave a really great talk all about automation, but that feels like a very long time ago and we've covered a lot of ground since then. So I want to see who was paying attention. And I've got a Google Home Mini to give away with my lovely assistant, Adam, to the person who can answer this question based on Brendan's talk this morning. So we heard all about how automation isn't replacing jobs, it's replacing tasks. And we saw how Ireland's unemployment rate is at a 10-year low. So who can tell me, first one to shout out, what the unemployment rate actually is? Oh, Jesus. That is an issue. Anybody? I think that breathing exercise really worked. You were all like really engaged. You knew what we were talking about. Any idea who the first person was? Somebody over here? Okay, we're going to employ the honest policy here, whoever the first person was. I'll leave it up to Adam to decide. We'll give it to you after the talk. We'll give it to you after the talk. Oh, cool.
I will try one more time. Make correct to one decimal.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that, Adam.
Correct. So, answer yeah. 5.3.
Oh, I heard it.
5.4.
Yeah, perfect.
That's right, Brenda.
It is, yeah, it's 5.4. Nice, well done. I'll have to pick a tougher question next time. Okay, great. So back to smart campaigns and machine learning. Well, machine learning has become a really, really important focus for us here at Google. A few years ago, we would have said we were a mobile-first company. So mobile was our core kind of project. And mobile is still very important to us. But really now what we're working to do is use machine learning to improve everything that we do. And in the words of our CEO, Sundar, machine learning is a core transformative way by which we're doing, rethinking how we're doing everything. So it's really, really important. But it was actually that previous era of mobile which got us to this point. Because as I'm sure you're all very aware, probably too aware, we're incredibly obsessed with our mobile phones. We use them all the time, constantly, from the minute you wake up in the morning to before you go to bed at night. We're constantly using our phones. And this kind of instant access to information at our fingertips has led to a really changed consumer behavior and consumer expectations. It's changed how we behave as consumers. So we're now really, really curious. We're incredibly impatient and we're highly demanding. And we see this play out in our Google search trends over the last few years, time and time again. So a couple of examples. There has been an 80% growth in searches for the word best, whatever that best thing is. There have been a triple the amount of searches for things that are open right now. And then finally, there is 50,000 years worth of video watch time of things with review in the title, right? So 50,000 years of people simply watching reviews, which is kind of insane statistic to get your head around. But statistics like that are kind of becoming the norm because of this explosion of data and because of the amount of data that we're creating every single day. We're actually creating 7 times more data every single day today than we did in the entire year of 2010. So another mind-boggling statistic to get your head around. But when you think about the fact that the smartphone that you have in your pocket is a device that actually has a better computing power than what the NASA sent astronauts to the moon using, it's kind of insane, and you kind of start to believe the amount of power and data that you're processing in your pocket right now. And what that means is that all these fragmented moments of intent, they're just simply generating too much data for us as humans to manually do anything with. So the question becomes, how do we understand all this data? How do we make sense of it all? And how do we use it to improve our lives? And that's where machine learning comes into play. So what is machine learning? Well, it's simply an approach to making decisions, and it involves algorithmically finding patterns in existing data sets and then using that understanding to react to brand new data in the future. And we've kind of talked about this a few times today, but when we think about machine learning, we tend to kind of approach it with a little bit of trepidation. It kind of brings to mind, pictures of machines and robots kind of taking over the world in some kind of a horror sci-fi movie. And that's kind of common because we as people, it's in our human nature to be a little bit fearful of change, especially change that involves giving up control. And we've seen this play out through history where there's been the introduction of new types of technology, and we've kind of been a bit apprehensive, kind of rejected it. But over time, we've kind of realized the benefits that it gives us. We've embraced it, and it's become completely normal, and you can wonder how you ever lived without it. And I was trying to think of an example of if I've gone through this in my lifetime, and it kind of got me thinking to this. So if you think about it in the 80s or the 90s, when I was growing up anyway, I would have been told to never get into the car with a stranger, right? So strangers are danger, strangers are weirdos, who knows what their evil intentions are, so whatever happens, do not get into the car with a stranger. And you'd see people hitchhiking on the side of the road, and you'd think, God, they have some lunatic out there with a death wish just trying to get a free lift. Out of interest, has anyone ever hitchhiked in here? Put up your hands. Oh, gosh, daredevils in the audience. My mum would not approve at all. OK, well, you're all the exception. So fast forward to 2000 and the explosion of the internet and the emergence of things like chat rooms. So I used to come home from school as a teenager, and I'd dial up the modem in the living room, and I'd go onto the family computer, and I'd, I don't know, talk crap for a couple of hours with my friends or somebody on the other side of the world. And I was always told, whatever happens, do not actually meet up with somebody you met on the internet. Chat away, but just don't meet up with anyone you meet on the internet. Don't share your location with anyone that you meet on the internet, because again, strangers are dangerous, and at the very least, weirdos. Well, okay, think now to today, the year 2019, and things have changed a little bit. So now, not only do you actually go online and order strangers to come pick you up, you actually pay for the privilege to do so. So we're all very familiar with our Ubers and our My Taxis and things. And I will go to a city that I've never been to in my life on the other side of the world, and it'll be the middle of the night, and I'll be like, yeah, take it out Uber, and I'm getting a stranger to come pick me up, and I'll pay for him to do it, and that's totally fine. So go figure, things change. So really what I'm trying to say is machine learning is not something to be too scared of, and it's actually already in the technology that you use every single day. So whether you're using Gmail, those kind of one-click predictive responses, I don't know if anyone actually uses them, but those are machine learning powered solutions, or Google Maps, if any of you use Google Maps to get here today. Google Maps is something that if you're using to predict what the traffic is going to be at a particular time in a particular place in the future, or how difficult it's going to be to park your car, that's all powered by machine learning. So that's all just day-to-day technology already using it. Quick show of hands, who uses Netflix? OK, good. And what about Spotify? Yeah. Great platforms. So Spotify and Netflix, we all use them. They're brilliant. And I think when we think about it, though, I would say anyway, and when I've talked to other people, they would agree with me that generally the recommendations that you get from Spotify, so what kind of new artists you might like, new kind of songs, different playlists, those recommendations are amazing. Like you might have get some artists that you've never ever heard of before, and you're like, God, yeah, I love this song, and thanks Spotify, this is a brilliant playlist for me. So those recommendations are really, really, really great. Whereas with Netflix, it can be a little bit more hit or miss. The TV shows and the movies that they recommend you. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're a little bit out there. And that's simply because if you think about it, there's only so many TV shows and hours of movies that you can really get through in one sitting. Although I can surprise myself on a Sunday when I'm feeling particularly lazy. There's only so many generally movies and TV shows that you can really watch on Netflix in one go. Whereas with Spotify, you might use that throughout your entire day. You might be listening to songs when you are getting ready in the morning. You might be using it in your commute into work. Whether you're at work, you've got your headphones in. When you're in the gym. So you're constantly kind of listening to short 3-minute songs. And you're either adding the songs that you like to playlists, or you're skipping the ones that you don't. And every time you do, you're giving signals and data points to Spotify that's going to improve what it predicts you're going to like in the future. And that's really simply put what machine learning is all about, and why it's better for some machines than it is for others. And it's why it's such a big focus for us today. So that huge increase in the computing power of devices and computers, and the staggering amounts of data that they're creating, that's why machine learning has become such an incredible topic today. And the advertising industry in particular is utilizing this solution. So the advertising industry has an abundance of data. It's a staggering amount of data to optimize towards, and it makes it incredibly hard for advertisers to know how to fully optimize their marketing process. And brands are looking for solutions to help them achieve this, which is why 63% of organizations are making investments in automation and machine learning, and 85% of leaders are really prioritizing this technology. And we at Google, we are using machine learning to build solutions to help drive the best performance for your ads. And we're using machine learning to help address some of your marketing needs. Things like, how do I find my ideal audience? So how can we find people who aren't your current customers now, but they should be in the future? How can I measure performance? So how can I find the true driver of a conversion and assign the right value along an increasingly complex customer journey to get there? How much should I bid per auction, and what message do I show my audience? And these last two, around bidding and message and creatives, are really what we consider to be the core of a campaign, and where we want to build our smart solutions and smart campaigns around smart bidding and smart creatives. So these two, smart bidding and smart creatives, they work really, really well together to maximize your performance. And what does this look like in practice? So sticking with the kind of themes of hotels today, consider if myself, Adam, and our manager, Marie, are all looking for a hotel. Very simply. What the best hotel for each of us is very, very different, even though it's the same search. So Marie, God bless her, she's a very, very busy woman. She works a lot, so chances are, poor thing, is booking a work trip. So she's going to be looking for a hotel that has Wi-Fi, that has working stations, might be close to a Google office. She's also an exercise addict, so she definitely needs a gym at the end of that stressful day. Whereas Adam, when he's looking for a hotel, he's probably booking a couple's holiday. He loves to travel with his girlfriend. They like really cool, quirky accommodation. The more off the beaten track, the better. So he definitely doesn't want a standard hotel chain. And me, I'm a little bit unorganized. I'm a bit of a last minute traveler. So if I'm feeling a little bit bored one weekend, I might just want to get away, quick weekend break, somewhere simple, bars, restaurants, whatever, that's fine. That's all I need. So that's three people all searching for the same thing with very, very, very different expectations of what we want the system to respond to us with. And as we heard, we're incredibly demanding and incredibly impatient. So we're going to expect the right answer when we make that search. And if you're an account manager and you're trying to predict each of our needs, as well as every single other potential customer out there, including that person who looked for the last late-minute shift or score or whatever, you're literally trying to predict what every single person is looking for when they're searching for a hotel, and you're doing that trying to find the right price for each of those people. It's kind of impossible. It's a little bit insane. So that's where machine learning can really help with the heavy lifting. And at Google, we're pretty uniquely placed to power our machine because we've got access to 7 properties with over 1 billion users each. So if there's one thing we are not short on here in Google, it's audience data. YouTube actually recently has reached 1.5 billion users, and Android is topped 2 billion already. And there's actually one more platform which isn't up here, one of our properties. It's a little bit late to the party, but it's really catching up quick. I wonder if anyone can guess what it is. It's on 500 million users currently. It's set to be 750 million users by the end of the year. Any guesses who it is? No. No, it's Google Photos. So the next time you see this slide, it might actually have 8 properties with 1 billion users on it. So what that means is that we can use really rich user signals across all of those different platforms to get an understanding of a customer's needs. So we can look at signals like a person's age, their demographic, what gender they are, what kind of business they work in, what their household income is, to get a really nice understanding of who that person is. We can look at signals like the location of a person, what time of day it is, what day of week it is, what device they're browsing on, so we know whereabouts they are, if they're on the move or if they're at home or at work, so we know kind of where they are. And we can kind of predict what they want by using search queries and browser history to get a sense of what their interests and their preferences are. And what all that means is that when a user then visits a site, they essentially become scored for their level of intent. So let's look at Adam then, again, as an example. Poor Adam, I'm picking on him today. So Adam goes online and he's searching for his holiday and his travel destination. And we can build up a really nice profile of interest about Adam and a value to your business. So we know from data signals that he's kind of volunteered online that he is a male in his mid-20s. He's a professional, so he's got some money to burn on holidays. He travels almost every weekend. He loves to go traveling with his German girlfriend. He's passionate about Scandinavian architecture and fashion and music. He loves technology, as he said earlier, and he's recently purchased a drone, which he loves to take epic photography with. So those are all really kind of rich signals that we can gather and get a really good understanding of who Adam is. And that helps our system score and predict the likelihood of a person like Adam actually booking a holiday, and then by comparing his user journey to many other journeys of other users similar to him that have made other journeys in the past. And that means that we're able to give a score to a user like Adam that will inform businesses what value they are to him and how much they should bid on him, and also what kind of ad is really going to be resonating with Adam and lead him to actually purchase what it is that he's looking for. And the Google machine learning system that powers our smart campaigns, it's analyzing hundreds of millions of signals in 100 milliseconds. So literally in the blink of an eye, it can do all this computing of data points and different ad data combinations to come up with the best advertising campaign for you. And it's going to be an ad customized based on a user's short-term search, but also based on their long-term interests and preferences at a bid that is the most value to your business. And it's doing that for every single user at every ad impression, all that data analyzing and processing and predicting. It's doing that for every single user, every ad impression, constantly in real time. And that's really what we mean when we talk about smart campaigns. So they're really, really powerful. But I'm kind of talking about them quite simply, whereas in a campaign, there are specific smart solutions and tactics for specific business objectives that you might have. So you might be building out a dynamic search ad as your smart creative solution, and you might be using that with maximize conversions as your smart bidding tactic. So if you're interested in kind of hearing about more of those tactics or what is the right solution for your business objectives, myself and Adam will be at the Prosecco roundtable, so we'd be more than happy to talk you through them or follow up after today. And really all of this is so that digital advertisers and marketeers, they're able to work faster, reaching people, more customers at a speed and scale that you can't do manually, work smarter, and win more, so ultimately drive a higher return on interest. So what we're trying to do is just free up time so you can devote that time that you spent on manual tasks so that you can devote it to more strategic and more valuable things to your business, like the amazing work that Beth was doing with Littlewoods around profit, or the brilliant Wolfgang intelligence work that Michaela spoke about. And ultimately at Google, we put the user experience at the center of everything that we do. So we're doing this so that users have a really good experience. And it means that people like Adam can find their perfect hotel destination, which coincidentally is in the middle of a forest in Sweden. A nice glass cabin there. So Adam's happy anyway. Thank you.